How's it going, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the F1 2020 My Team Career Mode, where we're bringing Brabham back to the very top of Formula 1. In the last episode, we got our first podium in P2 in the USA Grand Prix, and our pace was fantastic. In qualifying, we did a good job, P11, but we started P7 due to some grid penalties from some of the other cars around us, and that opening first corner gave us the platform to be able to push. And I don't know whether Perez had damage, I couldn't quite see on the replays when I was looking, but a fantastic result nonetheless. We got very lucky with Leclerc. I think P3 definitely would have been the position we would have finished in if Leclerc hadn't have DNF, but fortunately for us, he did, and we got a great haul of points. But not only that, but our first podium finish with Brabham back in Formula 1. This time round, it is the Mexican Grand Prix, a very tricky circuit, a long front straight, and that back section as winding corners is very, very tricky, and there's all to play for in this race. I will be changing the difficulty. I will up it a little bit just because I felt like it was probably a bit too easy, really. If you look at where our car is, if I scroll through here, we're third from worst. I should not be finishing on the podium. So I'm going to, now that I've started to improve my driving, change the setups quite a bit, I'm going to really go for a harder difficulty to try and make this more difficult for me. Before we get into the rest of the episode, it is now time to start deciding who we're going to choose as our teammate heading into Season 2. I'm not going to keep Mick around. We kept him on for the second half of the season, but he's not really performed. I'd like to bring in a more established Formula 1 driver into the team to try and build this team up with me to consistently get on the podium like I did in the last round. Option number 1 is going to be George Russell. He was in the options previously and he will remain there. He's a good driver. His rating is 77, but he's a fantastic driver. So do we pick up George or someone like Kevin Magnussen? Now, there is a bit of a family history between Kevin and I. Our dads raced together for the Panos team in the American Le Mans series, so I thought it'd be quite a nice story. Again, Kevin's 79 rated, slightly higher rated than George, but slightly more reckless. Maybe he might cost the team in finances, crash damage, that sort of thing. We'll have to wait and see, but he's our second option. And now for the third and final option now. Our final option is Pierre Gasly. Now, he is somebody who didn't quite cut it at Red Bull. I don't think he deserved to be cut personally. I think he probably deserved a bit more time to show his qualities, and he's doing really well at AlphaTauri this year in real life. But do we want to take him? I know we've had a bit of issues in the past in the opening few rounds, but kind of put that past us, and he's a quality driver. His rating is the highest of those three, 88. He's also the most expensive along with Magnussen. So do we take Pierre, give him the chance to hopefully win some races in a car where he deserves to be, rather than in the AlphaTauri where, you know, Red Bull didn't give him the chance that he deserved? So those are our three options. We've got George Russell, Kevin Magnussen, and Pierre Gasly. Let me know in the comments down below. Tweet me, Instagram me. Maybe in the next episode I'll do a poll on Twitter, so follow me and I'll do a little poll to see what you guys think. And yeah, hopefully we can make that decision in the next few rounds, and then after the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix we'll get it done and bring in a new teammate. Okay, so we have had our regulation changes come in, and it's only for the powertrain. So all that stuff that's saved up, I'm just going to adapt every single part, make sure we've got everything done. I saved up more than enough resource points just in case more than one area of the car had to be upgraded, and luckily it's only just the engine, so that means we're going to be able to do some pretty heavy. I won't do any more upgrades on the engine just yet. I'm going to focus on the chassis and the aero to really improve our car now. We've got 2,800 resource points left after doing all of that, so this is going to be a big chance for us to really improve our car, maybe for Abu Dhabi, but particularly heading into Season 2, where hopefully we can right in the middle of that midfield battle. I've gone for weight reduction on the engine cover. That is going to boost us up quite a lot. And this major rear downforce package is going to take us close to Renault and Racing Point in the aero development. So that's going to be really important for us to try and get our car working a bit better. The engine's good. Honda have already brought an upgrade for us anyway. We've got all of the changes done. They're going to be adapted for next season anyway. So now it's really time to go hard on the practice programs, get those resource points in, and improve our car as quickly as we can. Heading straight into qualifying now. And this is our second run in Q1. Didn't get the best run through here. You have to really pick your line correctly. You can see I was a little bit up going through the first bit, and then heading towards the end of the lap. Magnussen did kind of get in our way. I got a bit distracted and ran wide there. Lost just about a tenth, but luckily we didn't lose too much time, and I had pretty good pace. The car felt very good. I did put on a specific setup that I found online again, which seemed to have done a good job. The car felt pretty good, and it isn't P12, it was P9 in the end in Q1. The car feels good. I felt very comfortable on the track. Mick also out of Q1 in P15, great result for him. Typically he's not as fast as that, so it shows that maybe the car is pretty good round here if Mick's starting to perform. Again, didn't get these sort of chicanes right, managed to get a good run out of the little hairpin there, managed to gain about half a tenth to a tenth, and then through this fast sweeping section, right left, it's very much like Japan or Sector 1 in the USA, where you have to get the first bit right to really gain the time, because if you don't get the first bit right, then that messes you up for the rest of the lap. And then coming out of the final corner, I did gain quite a lot of time on this lap in Q2, right at the end, close to 8 tenths on the newer set of tyres, and that does put us into Q3 in P3, and which I was surprised I was that far up. The times are super close. I was only a tenth off Leclerc, the best lap time, so all to play for heading in. Bottas and Verstappen out of Q2 as well. They won't make it into Q3, and then this lap, right at the end of Q3, I absolutely nailed it. I felt like I got the most out of the car, maximising the track as much as I can. I didn't think I was going to run that wide, but I just understood slightly, but that's okay. Sector 1 is purple right at the end of the session. Coming through the chicane, I managed to just hook the lap up, limited my mistakes, did a really good job, and you can see I'm close to 7 tenths up now coming into this sweeping section, and I really committed hard here. Had to try and get the most out of the car. 7 tenths up, really quick through this section, 7.5 tenths. Coming into the final section right in the stadium, and we are purple through sector 2 as well. And coming in through this final sector, this is the sector where I wasn't as comfortable as the rest of the lap. I feel like I lose a fair amount of time out of this final corner. Managed to get it stopped, got a half decent exit. We're close to 8 tenths, 9 tenths up, and in the end it's not P9, it is P2, and our first front row start of this career for the Brabham Formula 1 team. A tenth and a half off of Sebastian Vettel, super close to Leclerc behind, but I will be upping the difficulty by a fair amount heading in to the next race. But P2 in the end. Let's get into the race.
Here we go then, it's time to race in Mexico City, a place which gave Honda their first ever victory back in 1965. American Richie Ginther won from third on the grid. And what are the Honda-powered cars this year? Well, Red Bull have been going strong here in recent seasons, so can they keep that record going today? The Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, 2.6 miles of track that allows drivers to take full advantage of their cars, reaching speeds in excess of 220 miles per hour, and providing lots of opportunities for overtaking. The circuit features 17 corners, 10 to the right and the remaining 7 going to the left. Also here, of course, is Anthony Davidson. Can we talk about Mercedes? What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within that team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do, and that's definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Sebastian Vettel will start on pole. Fantastic qualifying from the multiple world champion. And Mr. Monaco completes the front row. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Leclerc, Hamilton, Alexander Albon, and Ricciardo, Perez, Fiat, Bottas, and Max Verstappen, Giovinazzi, Norris, Esteban Ocon, and Raikkonen, Schumacher, Stroll, Carlos Sainz, and Roman Grosjean. Magnussen, Latifi, Russell, and Pierre Gasly picks up the final grid slot today. Now, it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Here we are then for the start of the race, and never did I think we'd be getting a P2 and our first front row start for the Brabham F1 team. After our podium in the last round, I upped the difficulty by 3. I think I'm up to 106, I want to say. And I couldn't change it into the race. I must have missed it as I was doing something else. So it is what it is. We'll see how we get on, but I can't believe we've ended up on P2. And the grid was so mixed. Bottas out, mix in between Bottas and I think Verstappen, which is crazy. So we'll have to see how we go. Okay, so I've had a look at the strategy, and it seems like soft, medium, medium is the right way to go. That is going to be where we're going to have it. I tried to play around with different compounds, but it's not really much quicker. The soft, doing it twice, it was slightly faster, but I'm just concerned about tyre wear, having to try and push. So I'd rather be on the mediums. The medium's a good race tyre, so that's what we're going to go for, and let's get into this race. Ready for the start. Never did I think that I would be on the front row here in Mexico, but here we are. Try and get a good run off the line. And we do, up into the lead of the race. Although Vettel's got a pretty rapid engine, and you'd imagine he'll come back with a melee of cars behind, a little bit of contact. He's trying to move over a little bit. Leclerc's going to try and send that one. Just waiting for him to have contact there. And Hamilton's got up into P2 now. Surprised about that because both Ferraris were pretty good. Or gone too deep into there. That's not good. We'd like to think Hamilton and the Ferraris will come past pretty quickly. But we'll have to wait and see. Bit of oversteer. Hamilton right there. This is the sector where I lost out on pole, I reckon. I had purple first and second sectors. I lose out particularly on the exit of the final corner. Hamilton's come pretty quick. Maybe a bit of ERS, I'll be able to keep him at bay. Safely up the inside. Oh, got a big bit of oversteer there. Overcorrecting, the thing turned left on me. But I was able to get away with that. Just about. I felt like in the race program I wasn't as consistent as I would like to be, which means in this race I've got to really focus up, trying to hit my marks and not make any mistakes, because the guys behind are in cars that are quicker than me, and I've gone wide there. Bit of oversteer, it's not good. And I upped the difficulty, I think to 106, I think 106. I had it a bit lower than that previously, and we were doing okay, you know, and then as soon as I started putting these better setups on, it's really shown the difference it's made in the performance, because never did I think I'd be P2 or leading a race on merit. So I might just go, for Brazil I'll go another step, 100%. I'll play around maybe in practice, see where I'm at, and then go from there, because as much as I love leading and winning races and getting points, Mick's so far back and our car's not really quick enough to be doing it, and I want to keep it realistic. And I thought going this much further would be okay, and in practice you would have thought so. I was mid-pack, and then all of a sudden in quali I just stuck the lap together, found my rhythm, and was able to pull out a good time. And at the moment we're keeping Hamilton at bay pretty easily here. Average exit there, very average exit, but I know I'm pretty quick through this section here. Yellow flags. And that's Hamilton. And that's Hamilton who's out, must be out of the race. Something's happened to him, because I've got Leclerc and Vettel now behind me. I got so distracted then, I was driving like an absolute idiot. Lewis Hamilton is out of the race. Most important thing now is that I am out of the DRS range from the guys behind, and I can't believe I'm still in the lead of this race. I mean, I upped the difficulty 3 slots, which I saw a graphic to state how much that would affect the pace, and it said it would be sort of 2/10 per. Anything above 100 is about 2/10 per click. So from 103, I guess, to 106, it should be, you know, 6/10, maybe a bit less than that. But I should not be in the lead of the race, but either way I am. I'm not going to back out of it and do it a different way. I'm going to just keep pushing, or just start to feel the tyres going a bit. I really thought that 106 would have been a lot more of a push, but it turns out it's not. I've got to change it a fair bit. So my pit window opens next lap, but I'm actually going to box this lap, try and undercut them, get onto that set of mediums super quick, because these soft tyres haven't lasted as long as I wanted to, with a big bit of oversteer there. There we go. Into the pits. Let them go. Not too worried about that. Just make sure I'm double check that I'm actually recording this. Yeah, good opening stint. Albon looks like he's come into the box with us. Hopefully we can have a quick stop. 2.2 is pretty solid. We should get out in a nice little gap. Schumacher's in 15th. Most people should pit next time round, really. But we have been put out in a bit of traffic with some Haas's. This is really where our car actually is. Maybe a bit quicker than these lights. Mixing P15, so... which is good from him. He had a good qualifying as well, actually. I was reasonably impressed with him in qualifying, but now it's time to press on. Try and gain as much time as I can on the cars that were around me once we came into the box. Really wanted to send that one on Grosjean. Had to get that move done. Big lift. Oh, I have to back out of that. Got a warning for corner cutting, but I got so much oversteer there. Try and roll speed through. Get on the power. Up the inside here. Hopefully we'll get that DRS off of Russell, which you should do now. Wonder if anyone's come into the pits yet, and hopefully this pace that I've got. Russell's got a Merc engine in the back of his car, and so he should be pretty quick, but I'm going to just send it up the inside. Send that one there. No, I don't think anyone came into the pits. I know I've come in a lap early, but I'm okay with managing the tyres now until I need to come in for that last set of mediums. Vettel's going to come steaming past me now. We are out ahead of Leclerc, but to be honest with you, there's no point in defending that position because it seems like he's on a set of softs as well. So he should be faster than us. I'll concede the position because we've both got to stop again. It's interesting that he's gone soft. So maybe I might have to... pretty much everyone around me has gone soft. It was slightly quicker, but you saw the tyre wear that I had. Hopefully Mick can do me a favour and hold Vettel up for a bit, and I can get DRS at the end of this sequence of corners. He's going to come pretty quick at me. This straight is so long, it's actually ridiculous. Who needs a straight to be this long? Like, he's passed me by the time we've ended up at the corner, which kind of takes away from the whole, like, racing element of it, doesn't it? What do you think? I mean, there's 3 DRS zones around this track. And for me personally, I don't think you need... The only reason why they've got 3 is to try and improve overtaking. That's the only reason why DRS was ever invented, was to try and improve overtaking, because the cars weren't built to overtake each other correctly. You know? This kind of feels just artificial. You learn how to overtake correctly your whole life, from karting all the way up to Formula 2, let's say. They do have DRS, but it's obviously not as strong as it is in Formula 1. And then you get to Formula 1 and it's like, alright, well, I'll just overtake you before we've even got to the corner. Ooh, Danny Rick, right up the inside. Now look at that. Like, I've not got that slow an engine, right? And then, what is even more stupid is that because he had DRS in that first zone, he then has DRS in this zone as well, even though he's overtaken me. Which then negates the whole point of me being able to then overtake him again, surely. I love Formula 1 just as much as the next guy, but some of the things that surround Formula 1 and the way in which they do things sometimes does frustrate someone who, like many of us, love the sport, but the artificial elements of it, like DRS, the blue flags, that sort of thing, takes away from the driver's quality. Let them race. You don't need, or build the cars so that they can actually overtake, so that the races are interesting, rather than making them so boring that no one really overtakes unless they've got DRS. Oh, look at that. Okay, in the box. Verstappen's come in with us. I don't think anyone's going to be with him, so we're going to go Rich Mix. He's in and out already. I need to make sure this is a good stop from the boys. Onto a set. I mean, 2.7 is not really good enough, is it? But we've got Bottas streaming past us, Ricciardo streaming past us. Hope I can get out ahead of Stroll. Should be able to. These lot get held up and make some moves, because at the moment, considering we started on the front row and was leading this race after the first pit stops, I've been done by the team. Jeff's had a shocker. Told me to. He didn't even suggest soft. It was slightly quicker, but not. I mean, they gained more than 2 seconds, so big bit of oversteer there. Got a good run. Make that at the inside. There we go. Have that. Had to get that move done. Mags is out of the race. Yellow flag's up ahead, by the looks of it. Gone Rich Mix till pretty much till the end now. Just so I can try and get close down this main straight, but I've just got too much oversteer. And then out of here, look at that. Like, I lose like 4 tenths. Just there. Trying to catch, but try and roll as much speed as I can through here. That. Close, but no cigar, as they say. There we have it. End of the race. P4. Bit disappointed. A great result, and I will be upping the difficulty again. Pierre Gasly, driver of the day, but I'm disappointed because we led the race. That first opening stint until I boxed, and I should have gone onto the softs. That's my fault. It's my fault. I should have done a different strategy. I didn't know what they were doing. I probably should have asked Jeff. He would have been able to tell me that they were all going on to softs. So, a bit disappointed, but it is what it is. P4, you know, I can't complain with a P4 finish. Another great haul of points heading towards the end of the season, and we have got some upgrades now that we've completed all of the amendments for next season's rule changes as well. So there we have it. Sebastian Vettel winning the Grand Prix and getting fast lap, 26 points for him. Valtteri Bottas in second, with his championship rival Lewis Hamilton DNFing from this race. He must be so close to winning the championship in the next race, at least Brazil, surely. Daniel Ricciardo in P3, he has way outperformed Ocon this season with a win and a few podiums to his name. We're in P4. I can't complain with P4. We beat the likes of Verstappen and Leclerc. I beat my championship rival in Lando Norris as well, which is brilliant for us, and I would have outqualified him. Mick in P17. He was in the top 10 before he pitted one more time, and I just wonder if he could have eked those softs out a bit longer, because he had a really good track position, but Maybe he went soft. I'm not really too sure about his strategy, so it is what it is. But let's have a little look at the standings. We are into 8th. Ricciardo up into 7th. That is brilliant for him. He's the best of the rest by far. And then the constructors, we're in 7th. We've got a decent gap now to AlphaTauri, and Hamilton is 20 points behind. So Valtteri Bottas wins the next race and Hamilton finishes 2nd. Well, all Bottas has to do is win the next race and he's champion. So he may well clinch it in Brazil. And let's look at the highlights. Got a pretty good start off the line. Managed to pull up alongside Vettel and then into the lead of the race. It's the first time I believe we've led on merit this season, which was brilliant. Seeing the Brabham car there in the lead, and then Leclerc decided to send one, and I managed just to, as a melee behind us, it tightens up a lot there, and you can see Lewis Hamilton getting up into 2nd at that point in the race, and then see this is after the pit stop now, no footage of us in the lead, right behind Mick. Danny Ricks trying to come past. I'm having to go defensive. They're all on the soft tyre, might I add, and I felt like maybe I should have gone onto the softs. I had to send this up onto Mick, up at the inside of Mick. And then this is where you got Bottas and Ricciardo right behind me, trying to defend from Bottas and Ricciardo on that soft tyre, amongst others like Leclerc, Vettel, Verstappen. They all try to come past, and I managed to get a decent amount of pace. I think I made a pretty good move here, yeah, up on Giovinazzi. We made a little bit of contact, but I had to get that move done so that I could try and get him holding other people up. And it seemed to have worked because Leclerc dropped back quite a lot after that. And then, see, running wide. I struggled with understeer a fair bit through that corner specifically. And then out of here, I don't know why I'm losing so much time. I try to get good exits. This is me coming to the pits, but I struggled with oversteer. And they'd gained maybe 4 tenths out of that last corner. And if they weren't gaining that, I probably would have had a pretty good result in comparison, because I would have had a chance of overtaking people and defending slightly better into that turn 1. Tried to make the move. This is where we made the move up onto Max Verstappen. Had to get that move done there. I felt like I had the pace maybe to catch Ricciardo. I felt like Ricciardo was holding Verstappen up a bit. And Verstappen didn't have the pace to catch me at the end of the race. And there we have it. P4 in the Mexican Grand Prix. So there we have it. The end of the Mexican Grand Prix. And I feel like I should be happier than I am about the result, considering we led the first stint of the race. Finishing P4 wasn't the best result. I felt like a podium should have been there. I'm going to up the difficulty again. I want this to be realistic. And now that I'm using these setups, I think Japan was an exception. I had really good pace in Japan. It was just a matter of the grid penalty and the starting position didn't really match probably the pace that I did have in comparison to the others, whereas USA was quite clearly a big step forward. And then again in Mexico, to qualify P2 was pretty exceptional, and I had realistically I had too much pace in the race compared to where our car is at, so I'm going to up the difficulty again. I might even just stick it on 110 now that I'm at about 106 and see where I am, and then go from there. If I have to drop it down again, then so be it, but we'll have to wait and see how we go. The Brazilian Grand Prix is next, birthplace of my absolute all-time hero in racing, Ayrton Senna. Obviously I wasn't around to watch him live because I wasn't born yet, but at the same time my dad raced against him, the stories I've heard, and for me personally, the way I got into racing was watching videos of Senna with my best mate on YouTube. That's how I got into racing. It wasn't really through dad. I guess subconsciously it was, but that's how I ended up loving Formula 1. It was by watching Senna videos more than anything that made me go, I want to be a Formula 1 driver. I want to be him. So for me, the Brazilian Grand Prix is exceptional, and if any of you have seen the footage of Ayrton's win there, I can't remember which year, when he'd basically run out of gears. So yeah, I think he only had like a couple of gears to use, and he got out and collapsed out of the car, and the Brazilian fans are going crazy. You know, an absolute icon of the sport, and you know, one of the greatest ever. I'm not a huge fan of comparing people from different eras, saying he's the best ever, because it's different machinery, different teammates, different, you know, all the rest of it. But for me, Senna is my hero, and yeah, Brazilian Grand Prix up next. We've got some upgrades coming, as you would have seen before. Please do let me know about the teammate situation, who we're going to go for, and comment in the comment section down below. Maybe over the next few days, I'll put a poll up on my Instagram or Twitter. Follow me there. Sam Brabs on Twitter and Sam Brabham on Instagram. So follow me there for all the updates, little things about my personal life as well, if you're interested. And yeah, comment in the section below as well, and feel free. And as always, please like and subscribe onto the channel for more F1 2020 and racing game content. I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.